If you've been doing the work and you still feel reactive, stuck, exhausted, this video is going to explain everything that you need. My purpose here today is to talk about the nervous system, the survival strategies that we choose in order to stay alive, in order to stay safe, and how Kundalini Yoga impacts all of that, how Kundalini Yoga supports all of that. This is first in a series of videos that I'm going to be making to explain how the nervous system works, Kundalini Yoga, and in particular the Fawn response. So first let's start with foundations, and then we'll build slowly towards understanding the Fawn response and why that's so incredibly important for you to know and to recognize. All right, so here, without further ado, your nervous system is like an information highway. It sends information from the brain to the body and from the body to the brain, literally like a highway. And we all know that there's times when we get on the highway and we can move really quickly. We can get from A to B really quickly because there isn't any traffic. Now think about traffic in this context, from the body context, as experiences, as trauma, as experiences that really have hurt or slow us down or have impacted our nervous system. You know that if you get on the highway at a particular time, it's going to be busy, it's going to be crowded. We're not going to get from A to B very quickly. And so the same thing is true for our nervous system. Over the course of a lifetime, especially from childhood and onwards, we accumulate experiences, and sometimes those experiences impact us in a way that creates trauma. Trauma is too much too soon, too little too late, and anything in between. And it's not necessarily even the thing that happened, but how our bodies and our self responds to that particular experience, okay? So this idea of big T trauma and little t trauma, I think we can put that aside. That all things that we experience as human beings, whether other people can vouch for them or not, are our life experiences. And those things create an impact. And all of that impact is sitting in your nervous system. So that's the first thing first. Our nervous system is constantly absorbing information, constantly reacting to the world around us. And our nervous system has one job, and that is to keep this being alive. That's true for you, that's true for me, that's true for everybody. Doesn't matter who it is, everybody has that same experience with their bodies, right? And in that, in creating safety, in trying to create survival, our body, generally speaking, has 4 strategies. The 4 body responses for survival are fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Remember, we're going to talk a lot about fawn in this series, so I want to capture each one of these in a little bit of detail so that you can really identify and understand where it shows up for you, okay? So the fight response literally is something happens in your environment, you sense a threat, and your first response is to go in attack mode. That's amazing, right? To sense your inner anger, to sense your boundaries, and then to be able to mobilize to deal with that threat in a one-to-one kind of way, in a combative kind of way. That's first one, fight. Flight, you see a threat coming, you sense a threat coming, and your response is to run, right? So the predator may be bigger than you or more loud than you, and you know that you're faster, you can get away. The next one is freeze, and freeze literally sounds like what it is. It is a shutdown mode, and that is something like pulling a blanket over our heads, getting into bed, and just staying there without moving. Okay? That's a simplification, but I hope you'll stay with the analogy. So in this very simple way, you have kept yourself safe from that predator, from that threat, by immobilizing. And animals do this all the time. When I had a dog, And the kittens would play dead all the time because the dog was bigger. And it was such an amazing thing to see that every mammal does this. And so if you watch your pets, you'll be able to see it. If you see a small child with someone much bigger, you'll see it. And so once you see it, you can't unsee it. All right? So those are the first three responses. The fawn response is really unique in that it sees the threat coming. Remember, this is from your nervous system. This is not a calculated idea, but your nervous system says, there's a threat, there's a predator. Let me see how I can appease it. Let me see how I can turn off the threat. Maybe you'll be extra kind. Maybe you'll be extra gentle. Maybe you'll offer it something to eat or something to drink. And in that way, to turn off the threat. So that's the fawn response. And all of these are very important because, again, this is about survival. This is how our body learns how to adapt, to cope, to survive all the different experiences that we go through as children, as teenagers, and as adults. Still happens. Just because we're adults doesn't mean we don't have threats in our environment. Before, they might have been bigger kids or our parents or caregivers, and now it might be a text message or an email. Sound familiar? Okay, so this is what you've been asking for. How does my nervous system work? And then how does Kundalini Yoga support this? Okay, so hang on, I'm going to explain all of that, and then I'm going to give you a practice that we can do together to really get a little bit closer to the way that Kundalini Yoga works and how we can use it as a tool for supporting our nervous system. Okay, so now let's change the frame a little bit. Kundalini Yoga is a practice that is thousands and thousands years old. Some records say 5,000, some say 10,000, and all that says to me when you go back that far is that it's lasted this long because it works. And it has set the tone and the stage for a kind of nervous system resourcing that has lasted, that makes sense, and that offers real real world effectiveness. Okay, and this is how it works. You've all heard this advice: take a breath. That's included in Kundalini Yoga. In somatic therapies, we talk about sound, so humming, using vocal tones in order to change the vibratory frequency of the body. Kundalini Yoga has that. Movement, and we know that movement is very regulating for the body. It disperses energy, overwhelming energy. It also starts to mobilize when we've gone into freeze mode. And then there's also the idea of meditation, which is creating an inner focus, an inner safety, if you will. So those are the pieces that come together to make Kundalini Yoga in and of itself a very powerful form of yoga, but even more so, especially when we're talking about the nervous system, makes this a really effective way of working through trauma, because this is where our nervous system needs a little bit of extra support. Okay, so when things get overwhelming or overstimulated, we can dial things down. When things are underperforming, under-responding, then we can start to do a little bit of activation. And all of this knowledge and information is the way that we can work with our bodies. Okay, so little information goes a long way. Now, let's drill down even more. Our bodies work best with repetition and routine. And I'll give you a very practical example. You probably follow the same kind of pattern every morning when you wake up. Maybe give or take a few things, or maybe the timing shifts, but probably you do this, and that's your morning. And probably the same is true before bed. And that's why including Kundalini Yoga into your daily life is very important, because it becomes part of how you regulate yourself, how you create your routines, right? So our thinking thoughts are part of our regular routine. Our beliefs and what we say to ourselves is also part of our regular routine. And so the amazing part about Kundalini Yoga is that now we get to step in, we get to work with our nervous system, we create new patterns in the body, because every Kriya and every meditation has a different kind of movement, a different pacing of the breath. And all of those changes of rhythm are a really powerful way to influence what's happening here, what's happening here, what's happening here, what's happening here. And all of that then starts to create a change in the overall sensory being. In other words, you and me, the human. And that's why I think it's so incredibly effective. In fact, so effective, yoga has been so effective that it's actually Stephen Porges, who I don't know, discovered but developed the idea of the vagus nerve, really studied yoga to find out, why does it work so well? Why does it impact heart rate variability? Why does it happen? And that's the beauty and the profound nature of yoga. That is the inner study. That is the understanding that the body, mind, and spirit come together to create all of this. And so in order to work with the nervous system, we have to have these other dimensions too. How do I feel? And how do I relate to the environment around me? What's my belief system about all of that? Right? So those are the pieces that I think are really important. Remember that when you're doing a Kundalini Yoga practice, you're going to start repatterning through movement, through breath work, through sound. And all of that is a way of establishing safety and interior reception, being able to feel from within. And what we want to do is create a experience where we have coherence, we are responding appropriately to what is happening in our world. Flexibility, we can change modes. We can look at our pets who are really cute, and then we can pick up our phones and see something on social media and feel sad. And that flexibility is really important. That's how we stay attuned. And presence. Okay, so coherence, flexibility, and presence. Being here in the present moment, responding in real time to what is happening. So as you go through your Kundalini Yoga practice and you start to notice, oh, hey, I'm more present. I can feel the ground below me. I can sense what's happening in my body. I can sense my emotions. All of those are signs that your nervous system is shifting. Okay? Let's do a little practice together, and then I want to offer you a few more ways to get some resources, and then we'll talk about what's coming in the next video. Okay? So hang on tight. Here's the first practice I want to introduce you to. It is super simple. We're going to put our hands on our body. Okay? This creates a little bit of pressure, creates a little bit of presence. Okay, I'm putting hands on the heart, so please follow along with me. This comes from the world of Kundalini Yoga. And here we're going to inhale through the mouth as a whistle, and then we're exhaling the sound of La, just 5 times. You can do this in the shower, you can do this in the car, you can do this with your kids, you can do this anywhere. And this is a way of bringing in a little bit more breath, focused breath, and a sound vibration, and hear sensation. Ready? Let's do this together 5 times. Inhaling through the mouth. Exhale. La. 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 in. Notice the sound. Notice how you feel. Very simple, very straightforward, very effective. We feel now safe. We feel now a little bit more resourced in terms of our inner experience. And this is the beginning, okay? So I'm not here to say that, oh, we'll just do these 30-second little things and our nervous system's going to be fine. This is a tiny little remedy. This is a way to get from a heightened experience to something a little bit more digestible, or to go from a flat line into a state of being that's a little bit more engaged, right? So we're playing with those two balancing factors. The real work is taking on a Kundalini Yoga practice on a daily, and that can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever you have time for, whatever you make time for. And that's where the real structure, accountability, and experiences then start to shape your new reality for your nervous system. And that's what we're looking for, is a new reality. So here are some ways that you can stay in touch and get a little bit more focused on this journey. Number one is, if you found this helpful and you would like more resources, really soft touch, is to check out the links below and sign up for my newsletter. Just come on in. You get one email a week with some reminders, with a new video, with a new idea, a new shared experience, so that you can stay motivated on this journey. That's number one. Number two is that this kind of support for your nervous system takes time. And the way to do that is to step into a solid container, and that is a 12-month training program with me and 20 other women who are focused on the same idea, building their nervous system, reestablishing their voice, and remembering how to be a leader in their lives. It's an incredible experience. You'll find all the links below. I hope you join me, and remember that the next part of this particular series is about fawning and all the other experiences that come along with fawning. I think you'll find it very powerful, very impactful, and if you've liked what you've heard so far, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing with a friend, sharing with somebody who you know could find this information helpful. All right? Until next time, lots of love. My name is Salimah, yoga therapist. See you soon.